We're here at the Ta Qali Basketball Pavilion, home to FIBA and the Malta Basketball Association. Today, I'll meet Federico Russo, NetRefer's Head of Human Resources, where we'll discuss the company's approach to recruitment. So, Federico, as Head of HR at NetRefer, let's talk a little bit about recruitment. Tell me a bit about the key criteria across the board that your team are seeking to find when you interview potential candidates.
We are a company that is driven by efficiency and driven by results. So this is something that should be reflected in the candidate as well. Technically, we are an employer and they are employees. But the way we are starting referring to is us as a center of opportunity, as an opportunity provider, and them as partner. So when we start these relations, starting from the interview phases, this is what we are looking for someone willing to contribute to what we are wishing to achieve, to our goal, to our vision. And this is really what we are looking for during an interview.
Makes sense. In our first walk and talk in the series, I talked with Jackie Bachman, the Chief Performance Officer at NetRefer. She described these three key words in the company's ethos: clear, fair, trusted. Obviously, those are sort of quite important concepts in terms of a human resources operation. Can you talk about how those are used, how you evaluate candidates with respect to these three keywords?
For sure. As Jackie said, these keywords, clear, fair, and trusted, are not a marketing tagline, are not a slogan. This is purely our DNA. This is purely our CEO, Raphael Arnold. And this is something that through our recruitment process comes clearly. We have several multi-level interview steps, starting from the phone screening interview, and this is something that it comes natural to understand if someone is a match from that perspective. Being clear, fair, and trusted is something that we believe is our DNA, not just internally with our employees and within us as a team, but also externally with our customers. As Jackie said, our platform embrace this kind of values. So this is something that we really take into consideration when we are having interviews.
So broadening it a little bit, Federico, I recently saw a really dynamic piece published on NetRefer's video blog about cultural diversity. All sorts of beautiful images and really cool concepts. Tell me a bit about how that factors in to the hiring process.
I have to say that diversity is something that I believe personally, and the company has the same beliefs, that is a value. Some companies may look at diversity, may look at people from different countries, not as an opportunity. I see that as an opportunity. I'm seeing that because I am the living example of this. I'm Italian.
I was going to say, you're an example yourself, right? Were you based in Malta at the time when you joined NetRefer?
No. I was working, I've worked 7 years in the UK. At that time I was just relocating back to Italy, and then I've been appointed to this with this role, and I relocated to Malta. So I had an international exposure, I had an international culture, and I believe that this can be a value for me as an individual and for sure as a business.
So bringing in elements and outlooks from people who might have very different cultural backgrounds, all contributing to the company's product and the company's services. Yeah. So there's obviously a need when people are busy and especially getting used to a new job for them to step away a bit, take a breather, maybe get a bit of a change of perspective. Tell us about some of the initiatives that the company offers and the facilities for your employees to do that.
Yeah, we have a budget allocated for quarterly events. Each department has a budget for them to spend time together. And of course, there are some institutional moments organized by the social committee events. I'm referring to the summer party and Christmas party, of course. But mostly, day by day during our working hours or during lunch break or after work, we have a penthouse. The third floor, equipped with some, let's say, entertaining activities. We have the billiards, we have the pool table.
Right.
So we want to establish that clubhouse feeling with our employees, so that that they are comfortable when the working hours is over, for them to go up and spend some time with their friends at that time, no longer colleagues.
Right. I read about a concept, the 6-month boot camp, which I'm assuming is something to do with this new process of onboarding people who have been newly hired. Tell us a bit about how that works.
The boot camp is our innovative way of considering the probationary period. The probationary period was something that was mostly a moment for the company to see you doing your job. The boot camp is putting that additional tools for the employee to be successful in their job. So with the boot camp, we are not just showing to the employee what are the levels that has to be cleared by him or her during the probationary period, but we are also providing the employee with the necessary equipment to be successful in the role, with the necessary dependencies in terms of, we call them squad. So if I work in HR and I'm doing payroll, it may be finance. So during your bootcamp, you will have time where is highlighted what your goal and level has to be clear is, and what the dependency that could support you in doing so are. This is a process that is monitored constantly by HR. There is a huge involvement from the management team, of course, and there are feedback sessions. So let's say that nobody with this program can be surprised about how the probationary period is going, because everyone is aware, and as soon as there is an alert, an alarm, we already have the actions to put in place to address any potential issues, or to, if someone is extremely successful during the boot camp, we have the leverage to adapt and adjust the boot camp.
Sure.
To bring him to a different level, to a higher level potentially.
So catering to their level of proficiency, but also it sounds like helping them with forming new alliances with other stakeholders in the company that they're going to need to work with.
Of course. This is the main purpose.
So as a new employee starts to find their feet at the company, what kind of expectations can they have about developing their skill set, developing technical proficiency and knowledge and their knowledge base? Does the company offer programs to help them with that and make them feel that they're continuing to be developed as professional employees?
Sure. As I mentioned, we believe that we are a center of opportunities, so it means that the company has plenty of opportunities to grow. We are not a school, we are not training people to teach them what to do, because our talents are top caliber candidates. So we don't have to teach them what to do, but of course we have to show them the way to develop to the next level in their career path. And about this career path, we have some very innovative tools that we've just introduced into the business.
Okay, innovative tools. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more about the details of that.
The tool is a skill matrix. The skill matrix is something that is used not just to measure performance, but it's something that is, because as you know, performance is something that is based on individual. So your individual performance. The skill matrix is something more. It's not just about measuring your individual performance, but it's also about understanding what the role, and so not the individual, require. And this is a tool that can be used during the recruitment phase. This is a tool that can be used during the performance appraisal phase. This is a tool that can be used to develop someone. Because when you set your expectation before starting a recruitment, you will say that in your matrix, this employee has to have A, B, C, and D, and you tailor-made your recruitment strategy on that. Then when you onboard this individual, when you have this individual working with you, that would be the standards that you are setting for this role. And towards that standard, he will be measured, and the performance will be assessed. And of course, in doing so, in defining with him, in discussing with him or her what the requirement of the role are and to what extent he or she has to perform, you are start to define the development path for this individual in the role. And this development path can be vertically, from a manager to an head level or whatever it is. And then it can be horizontally. So you can move from your job to another one. And then of course there is that variable that is not just related to the role itself, but to the individual. Right. Because as an individual, if I have, let's say, a huge background in finance, even if it's not really an ideal horizontal career path moving from HR to finance, having that background, so as my individual skill set, I could move into that. So as I mentioned, the opportunity is not just what the role can offer, but also what the individual can bring to the company as a value. And with this, we are just getting back to the point where I said that has to be the match between these two entities in this partnership.
Makes perfect sense, yeah. Thank you.
Stay connected for part 3 of 3 next week, when we'll uncover the company's internal work policies and new benefit incentives for NetRefer employees.